way to say it. The man with a little bit of the edge on the Player of the Year race. He is your champion of the 2024 PBA World Championship, EJ Tackett.
Howdy.
EJ, so much seemed to be at stake for you today. Phil just kind of ran through the list there. How were you able to stay so composed knowing you had to win 4 straight matches?
Well, I mean, you have to really, you have to look at it. Every game is a tournament. You know, I've led a lot of events in my career where it's go out there and just bowl one game and win. That's kind of how I felt today. It's like, okay, just go out there and bowl a game and win. And then it's a new tournament. Go out there, bowl one game and win, one game and win, one game and win. And, you know, I set the lanes up, I would say probably a B+ for myself. Good enough to where if I made good shots, you know, the ball did what it was supposed to do. But, you know, both sides of the lane today, we both had problems getting 10. I left a few ring 10s there that last game, and all the lefties really, except Eric. He was the only one that, you know, really got his ball through the pins and did some striking. But everybody threw so many great shots that just didn't strike, and sometimes that's just the difference. It really wasn't shot making today. It was just being able to get 10.
Back-to-back World Championships, 3 in your career, Title 23, 5th major. I mean, the number of resumes, the number of people that can match that resume is, I think it's 8 with 23 and 5. Tom just said it, you're rewriting the record books. When you hear praise like that and you look at those kind of numbers, just how do you process that?
I'm still young. I got a lot of career left. It's something you can't really think about. You know, I've always said that I'm going to go out for hopefully about 20 years and give it my all and be competitive and see where that takes me. So hopefully over the next decade, I can continue to perform well and win some championships, and who knows where this might take me.
In the old days, it was the left-hander that made the trough, and the right-handers had to go ahead and do the carry down. Today, you had the trough, and those guys were out there struggling. Did that come into play at all, you think?
I mean, the lefties typically don't really see that much transition. But if you go back and watch all of them, they all threw unbelievable shots. They hit the pocket, which
They did.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you got to do, and just hope that you can get a couple to get out. And fortunately for me today, they weren't able to get very many out. You know, I bowled 240 that first game, but after that, it was just kind of keep the ball in play and fill frames and not make any silly mistakes. You know, that second to last game, I left that 3, 6, 9, 10 and thought I made the spare. You know, I was really trying to not have any open frames and not give my opponent, you know, any openings. And in that title match, I did exactly that. And you know, those guys, like I said, those guys bowled really, really good. You know, I had a front row seat watching them. They bowled really, really well, and you know, I've been on that side of it too, where you bowl as best you can, and sometimes the pins just don't fall.
EJ, I believe this was the first time you've been able to celebrate a title with your 4-month-old son Trip in your arms. What did that feel like today?
That was literally the coolest thing ever, to be able to go grab him and then grab this trophy. It was, I can't even describe the feeling. It was so cool, and I can't wait till he's old enough to, you know, understand what was happening during that time, and you know, and how happy Natalie and I were, and just how proud of a dad that I am.
It's tough enough to win 2 titles in a row on TV. It's tough enough to win them 4 or 5 days apart. Next week, TOC, you've got one of those under your belt already, but you have your chance for your 3rd consecutive. You would be in that same rarefied air with Dick Weber and Johnny Petraglia. And it's been 53 years since someone's done that. You got to be feeling your odds are pretty good to have a good showing in Akron and Fairlawn.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bowling center that I've had some success at. I haven't won at yet, but I've made the show, I think 3 times. I think I've made the show there now. So had a little success there, and hopefully next week I have the same, and just, you know, get back on the show and give myself an opportunity. You know, obviously I want to be the #1 seed every single week, but just being on the show, you know, today kind of proved that chip in a chair is all you need, and some good execution.
You talk about mirror images, 2015 top seed, 4 lefties. second place today, opening match, 4 lefties. When do you feel vindicated for 2015? Because I was there and you took that one really rough.
Yeah, I took that one pretty hard, but it's one of those times that kind of defined who I am in my career, and I said I would never make that mistake again, and I've got the proof of it right here. So, was I upset that I lost that day? Yeah, but am I glad that it kind of happened the way it did? Yeah, because it prepared me for today, and you always got to learn from your mistakes, and fortunately I've done pretty well at that in my career so far, and hopefully continue to do so.
Phil was just asking you about potentially winning a 3rd straight title. We've been talking all year about getting that first one and how frustrated making 5 straight and not winning. And now here we are looking at a potential 3rd straight. How rewarding does it feel that your perseverance paid off?
It feels great, and it's kind of how my whole career has gone. I've gone through my career and made a bunch of shows, and I've had plenty of stretches where I just couldn't win. Luckily, this stretch was one of the shortest ones that I've ever had, but nonetheless, it still kind of sucks when you're bowling well and then just not getting it done on TV. But I'm going to show up next week, and you can't think about joining records or anything like that. You got to focus on the task at hand, what's right in front of you, and like I said before, just giving myself that opportunity come next Sunday.
EJ, we talked a lot about your grandpa a couple days ago when I interviewed you about your Shark win, and I'm curious to what extent was he on your mind today?
He's kind of always on my mind. He was just such an awesome man, and we miss him. We're coming up on, I think, about 10 days. May 1st would be a year since he passed. So, this week winning two events, I don't know, maybe he's looking down and just celebrating with me.
EJ, I've been out here for a year and a half now, and I feel like I've talked to you more than anybody on the planet. Do you feel that your game has changed at all in the last year and a half to 2 years? Or do you feel like this is who you've always been?
Yes, is the answer to that question. I feel a little bit of both. Last year, before the 23 season, I put in a lot of work in my game, just tuning up and being ready. And I'd never really been that ready before a season started. And, it proved itself. It worked. So this year, I wasn't able to do it because Tripp was born, and I wasn't able to practice as much as I wanted to. But the 2 weeks off between the Players and the U.S. Open, we kind of got a little bit settled in, and I was able to, be away from the house for a little bit, and I put a lot of work in between those 2 weeks, and that's certainly paid off with the good bowling that I've done. I think since then I've made seven shows now since then. So that hard work is definitely paying off.
What do you think was the toughest shot you got to throw on the show today?
I would say probably the first game. Those 2 in the 10th to lock it out after what I thought was a pretty decent shot on the right lane. The ball just, they were breaking down pretty quickly today. I was throwing a ball that has some teeth in it, so it was ripping the oil off the lane pretty quickly. And getting to that left lane and just making sure that, you get that out of your mind and focus on throwing 2 shots in front of you. And, that second one was pretty tough because I knew I needed that second one to shut him out that game. And it was one of the better shots that I threw today.
Let's look at that right lane. Game 1, 4-10 late. Game 2, 4-10 late. Game 3, 2-10 late. You knew you were fishing on that right lane with championship implications. It didn't get to be that way. But did you think ahead during the break after that third game, like, what do I need to do if I need to step up in the 10th? Were you thinking that far ahead?
Absolutely. You have to. You have to be prepared for the situation. So I was throwing 2 different Pride Dynasties on the pair, and going into that last game, I ended up just throwing the one that I was throwing in the left lane on both. And it turned out that ball was actually really good on the right lane. Okay. So if I needed to strike in the 10th on that right lane, I was feeling pretty confident because I'd only missed once. Yeah. And it was because I didn't throw it very good. So at that point, I was pretty confident going back to the right lane. I actually would have been more worried on the left lane going in that last game because I was throwing some really good shots and just that 10 pin was just standing, you know. But luckily I threw enough strikes early that put me in a good position, and you know, Matt threw a lot of good shots, and just that 7 pin just would not fall down. It was Velcro to the lane.
EJ, thanks for your time. We know the fans are waiting out there. It's amazing to watch what you've done all year, but to watch you top it off for the major, it's exciting. Thanks for your time.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.